We had many conversations about whole product craftsmanship. And I think from what I know of your journey, you've always obsessed about product. Right. So when did you start thinking about, product is really important for you as an entrepreneur, especially somebody, like you said, you became very good at selling. And so sometime, you can, if you're good at selling, you can sell anything. Your product doesn't need to be that good, or you can sell first and figure it out later. Like when do you start making the switch that you said, product craftsmanship is really important for me?
I think I probably always had it. I don't know why I had it. Because I think when you appreciate good products, you want to be building that also, right? Like therefore you keep finding flaws in it, and therefore like you want to fix everything that is not in order. I don't know. It's some kind of an obsession, OCD behavior of sorts. I don't know what causes that, but you will notice imperfections all the time, and you will want to say this should be better. This should be better. And obviously, it's very hard to work with people like that because there is no end.
Right.
Nothing will ever be perfect. So what happens is, I think early on also, I remember when I was to sell like these mehndi cones, I would like have the best packaging, have the branding, put a name to it. There's a mehndi cone sold in few stores around, but I think this need to be noticeable, distinct, because people when they buy something, they want to feel good about themselves, right? And like, why does the unpacking of Apple products give you this joy? Like, you can always just give basic product, and I'm surprised that it's such a small thing that people can copy, but they do terrible stuff with packaging, terrible stuff with onboarding, terrible stuff with that. And I'm not saying we are in the gold standard. We are also in the path to get there, but I just see people just miss out that opportunity in this need to chalo kuch karte hain fast.
So have you done anything in the way you've designed organization or reward system or culture at cred, which is somehow supporting this spirit of product?
I think just having more people like me who believe in this, and they have the gatekeeping abilities to say this will not go.
So that's mostly interview process that you have to.
Yeah, like in Garage we had also made a ad film to go along with that. Did not meet the bar. We spent a bunch of money on that. We did not ship it.
Right.
But imagine like 7-8 team members worked on that ad, made it, did not go. And they still did a good job of still doing a good GTM. They did a lot of interesting things because the main ad was stopped. The point is that when you have the bar, and the bar is constantly reminded, and there is a very, I don't know where is very interesting. This is, everybody just makes this loose, but this is not very cred like. This is not cred. This is not cred, and there is no playbook to say why is this not cred. But osmosis, people just get the bar very quickly. But every time you need somebody who demonstrates and role models it.
And I think I don't know what's your point of view, but I feel like that product obsession is something that has long way to go in the larger Indian ecosystem. I think people are still a lot more problem focused, definitely scale focused, and sometimes customer obsession there, but product obsession that I want to build a product for the sake of inherent beauty, aesthetic, ease of use, less friction. That I think somehow probably, and if I compare Indian ecosystem with the Valley ecosystem, right? It came from very different heritage, from 60s, and the design, aesthetic, tech, all part of the same culture. And eventually I think this carried over to a lot of things. And most products achieve their scale because products were good, not because their marketing or their sales machinery or distribution also outstanding. So I feel that's one thing that definitely needs to evolve in the Indian ecosystem.
I think we will get there when we have enough role modeling that is happening, right? Like, we are so lucky that many good companies, CPOs come in and join in our product team in not senior roles, right? Like, but they just want to be around good people. We see the best design talent getting attracted to credit. Like, we probably have 10, 12, 14 people who could easily be head of design of anything. But they just want to be around these people. And I think if you can attract a certain type and say, this is the bar.
Right.
Like, so many times people, like we have seen in design, people make extraordinary content to apply for internship and like put it on the internet and like request to be allowed to come to credit. I think if you become a desirable, so it attracts people like that,
Yeah.
right? What you tolerate, what you don't tolerate,
Yeah.
what you say, "Kid, we will not ship things that are not beautiful."
Yeah.
And even if it means it's a delay, then it just forces that type of people,
Right.
right? But the problem is not everybody sees beauty the same way, and I don't know why.
Right.
And I don't know how to decipher that. But I think when is something looking okay and looking great, and I don't know how to bring that. I think we need to probably allow. Means probably I mean, I make this a very general statement, but non-engineering talent to be in a dominant positions. So you need to bring people with different aesthetic, different taste. But I think the need for excellence is missing.
Right.
I think beauty is just a manifestation of that.
Yeah.
But pride. Like I remember this beautiful thing that I read a story. I think Rajkumar Hirani talked about Vidhu Vinod Chopra once, saying that what is his method of getting scripts right? And he's like, you walk up to him and tell him that he'll say, "So how do you rate your own script?" And is it 9 on 10, 8 on 10? And if you're not up there, are you proud of it?
Right.
He'll just stare it. So it's very interesting. If I told you, Mukesh, are you proud of this?
Right.
And if you really are good at craftsmanship, you will say no,
Right.
which means you can go back and work. If you say yes,
Yeah.
but I can see that it's terrible, that
Right.
means I cannot trust you as a craftsman, so I can let you go.
Yeah.
But is there an inherent pride of work? So I think what I have noticed that good people,
Yeah.
craftsman mindset, are trying to get the applause of their peers and the audience and not their bosses.
Right. It's an amazing distinction. Yeah. Yeah. It's like whether, after you create something, do you feel like showing it to people around you? Dekho, this is what I've created. What do you think?
Yeah,
Give
and
me
peers.
feedback.
Like if you're a design person, you want the other design people to appreciate, because Kunal, what will he understand of design? Like, okay, you can generally appreciate, but oh, that thing that you did in this thing you did, like that nuance, only a craftsman. So they want craft people, want admiration from other craft people.
Yeah. I think, and this whole point of non-tech people also being in the decision-making seat and also bringing a sense of aesthetic. And aesthetic is subjective at the end. I don't think, there is really no formula. The different type of aesthetic is also good, but somewhere prioritizing for that, like a director of movie, two different director may make two very different type of great movies, but they are backing their judgment that mere ko lagta hai yahi chalega, this is, and not compromise until you're truly satisfied.
Yeah, I think I remember once a friend of mine made an interesting observation that a good chef will not modify their dish because of you.
Right.
They just know it's their opinion.
Right.
And either you love it or you don't love it. But at least they are damn sure this is great.
Yeah. And they're not looking for boss's approval, right? In the typical, most companies meeting, you're saying you present. If whoever the senior most person in the room has approved, that is good enough. Otherwise not. Versus, if you're that great shape, you don't care,
I think that's what happens, right? So when you're trying to please the boss, and boss attention to detail is limited because they don't have the time to look at everything, then mediocre products will get shipped. Right. But if you're doing it for your own pride, and you can easily get people to do extraordinary inspirational work if you just know that they have some craft in them, and you tell them that do something that you will be proud of. And that changes career trajectories, because the moment they do it for their own pride, and not for somebody else's validation. But problem of collective society is that we are trained for validation.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the things I would love to do, maybe in this podcast later on, just thinking, what are some of those top 5-6 products where you can see from the outcome that absolute product obsession, that craftsmanship has to be behind it, and then unpeeling it, like what has, created a culture, who's the guy behind it, and that will be good, I think, for the larger ecosystem, because
it'll be interesting to do. But the thing is, you'll find out that it's when something is being built with a pursuit of perfection, then multiple people will come to participate to add value to it and just make it even more perfect. For example, when we launched Garage, if you look at the launch website, it was done really, really well. And this is a web team that they feel that I am participating, my craft will be even bigger in terms of how we demonstrate this. So I think this just maniacal obsession.
Yeah.
By the way, it's also hardest to retain people.
Right.
Because I often tell people that everybody at Cred can get a job tomorrow.
Right.
They are here for a reason. Right? And if you can get a bunch of people who are extremely special in terms of their capability, and they are there for the joy of it,
Right.
and to be around these people, that is special.